Hey everyone, this is DWS Darius, and right now you're looking at my 350-gallon aquarium. I got a lot of questions recently about my ghost knife and how I'm able to keep him in this tank with these other fish. Come down here and you can see his body in there squiggling around, and I love this guy because he's hand trained. So I put my finger right here and eventually you see his face. Eventually if I put my hand right here, he should come out. And that's because this guy is used to eating out of my hand, and look at him. Definitely a very odd fish. Look at his body. Look at the way he swims. Definitely a very cool, oddball fish. Definitely an eye catcher in this aquarium. And I get a lot of questions about how I'm able to keep him with these other fish, especially with some of these more aggressive fish like the pike and the red devil over there. Now initially with my ghost knife, I wanted to keep him in this aquarium. This is my community tank. And he started off in this tank, but ghost knives, while they are peaceful, they are predatorial. So he was eating all my small fish. I had a school of Harlequin rasbora, I had some small corridors, even pea puffers, and a ghost knife was just eating every single one of them. So I was forced to take him out of this tank and to put him in here. So first off, the ghost knife, he is a nocturnal fish. So he mainly comes out when the lights are off. That's the reason why you saw him earlier. He had those tiny eyes because they really can't see too well. They use electrical signals to figure out what's around them and to find food and stuff like that. But for the most part, these fish are nocturnal. So when the aquarium lights are on, we have all these aggressive fish swimming around. But the ghost knife, he's hiding all day, except when it's time to eat. And then when the lights go off, he's all around and everybody else is asleep. So for the most part, these fish rarely interact with each other. They rarely come across paths because the ghost knife is hiding for the most part of the day. So I do believe that if you want to keep a ghost knife, you definitely got to honor the fact that these fish are nocturnal. So you do got to provide a place for them to hide when the lights are on. It's only natural for them to practice that behavior. So you definitely got to have a hiding spot. So mine likes this log right here, and I like the log as well because it has multiple viewing points. I have that bottom point where I can see him right there. If he goes higher, I can see him up there. So it's a hiding spot that he feels secure, while at the same time I'm able to check on him to make sure he's alive. It's also important to consider having multiple hiding spots in your tank if you keep a ghost knife. For the most part, all these fish in this tank, they stay in the open, with the exception of my catfish, but mainly this pike right here. This pike is very inquisitive. He's very curious, and a lot of times this gets him in a lot of trouble. So I have the ghost knife living inside this wood, and sometimes the pike comes and investigates and chases the ghost knife away. So it's important to have other places for the ghost knife to hide, because if the pike comes and chases the ghost knife out, then he's in the open, and now he has to face with fish that he never really faces, because he comes out at night when these fish are sleeping. So for the most part, these fish never face this ghost knife, so they really don't know what's going on. So they're going to try to investigate these peacock bass. They're going to try to figure out if he's food. The red devil is going to try to figure out if he's a threat, and it's going to create problems. So it's best to have multiple hiding spots so that when the ghost knife is chased out, he could go inside some of these other places and hide out and don't have to face these other fish. So another important thing when it comes to keeping ghost knife with more aggressive or larger cichlids is to create multiple hiding places. Another question that I get a lot is, how do I keep the ghost knife fed? Obviously he has a lot of competition. He's in this tank with some pretty big peacock bass. These fish are extremely fast when it comes to eating. Same thing with the pike, so definitely a lot of competition. So how do I keep him fed? And no doubt he is being fed well. When I put him in the tank, he was 10 inches, now he's about 14 inches. So he is growing, so he is being fed, and the way that I feed him is by hand feeding him. So like I said earlier, you do want to create hiding places. You want to know where your fish hides. You want to create spaces just for the ghost knife. That way it's easy to know where he's at. Once you know where he's at, drop the food in this little hiding spot. Eventually he associates you with food, and he's able to eat out your hand. And I'm pretty much about to show you guys that. So I'm going to feed the rest of the fish, get them out the way, and then I'm going to drop some food for the ghost knife. And as I said earlier, these fish are carnivores. They are predatorial. So when mine was a juvenile, he only ate bloodworms, and now that mine is adult, he likes to eat this smelt, this raw fish like everybody else. Now the thing is, his mouth is pretty weird. As I showed you guys, and as you're about to see, he kind of has a mouth that's like this, that closes kind of like a crocodile mouth. So you definitely got to chop him up pretty small. He can't swallow them like these peacock bass. He has to like chew them. So you definitely want to cut them up pretty small, but you're about to see how I feed this fish. Baga, 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 baga. Another important thing to consider about the ghost knife is that when you add them to the tank, you definitely don't want to add them when the lights are on. These fish, they look weird, they swim really weird, and because of that, they are definitely something that will attract a lot of attention from your fish. If you have cichlids or just aggressive fish, they're definitely going to try to investigate, and that investigation can be pretty deadly for the ghost knife. So it's important, if you add a ghost knife to your tank, that you do it when everybody else is asleep. So if you buy one during the daytime, maybe leave it in a bucket, and allow it to have some aeration in a bucket until night, or just if you have a room that's able to go completely dark with not even natural light. Even natural light can be deadly because they can still see the ghost knife, and with the way it wiggles and swarms around, it definitely looks like prey. So you don't want to pose that threat for the ghost knife. So if you want success adding your ghost knife to your tank, it's best if you do it at night when everybody else is asleep. But yeah, everyone, that's just some quick information about the ghost knife. Eventually I will give you guys a more detailed video with some better footage of this fish, because as you can see, he likes to come out, and it just takes me feeding him over a course of a few days, and I will have some nice footage. So eventually I will give you guys a full breakdown of care for the ghost knife. But for now, let me know what you guys think about this video. Now, I was a little bit distracted because if we look over here, we have my Jaguar Cichlids, and look, a couple of days ago these fish were united and working as a team, and now look at it, the male is trying to kill the female. Now that's because they just had a spawn. The spawn was, look at the cat, the spawn was unsuccessful, and now the male is being very aggressive towards the female. So eventually I may have to divide them. I hope I don't have to do that, but yeah, that's the Jaguars. They were distracting me throughout the video, and on top of that I have the cat jumping up every time trying to catch them. Now so far the cat isn't too bad. The Jaguars don't mind, they don't run from him. At one point the Jaguars were actually fighting the glass against the cat, so he's not too much stress on him. But yeah, everyone, that's a day in the fish room. I have a lot to show you guys, but eventually you will see it. So catch you guys on the next one.
No! What are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can!